And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today, we are going to put an end to the doubting of the 80-hour work week. I want to help you guys understand the significance of this process, of this strategy, of what it's going to bring to you eventually if you stick to this process and strategy. You have to understand, when I speak about these things, I'm talking from experience, but I'm also talking about the long-term perspective of you achieving your complete full potential. That's what we're striving to do here. And I'm not trying to give you a quick fix to your problems or a quick fix to whatever thing you've got going on. Okay, you might have an addiction. You might be addicted to PMO. You might have issues with your family, or you might have a girlfriend, or you might have this, that, and the other. Okay, I don't like all those things. Obviously, have their place in terms of we need to solve it. But I did make a video called "The 80-Hour Work Week Solves So Many Problems," and I stick to my guns on that one because it does. That is going to take you faster towards the land of your dreams than anything else that you could ever do. That one. It looks like the slow process, but it's the fastest process to get what you want. Okay? If you are in the circumstance that I'm going to be discussing right now. First, we need to define the 80-hour work week strategy. Okay? Because it's not just working 80 hours. Like, that's simple. Okay, go work 80 hours, to tell that to an entrepreneur. He's going to do his best to work a lot of hours in his business. That's not what the strategy is. If you don't need this specific strategy, then you're already in many ways successful already, okay? But this is for people who are starting from scratch, who have no idea how to become a massive success on their own, and they're just striving and struggling to figure out their problems and to go get what they want, okay? So we're differentiating those a little bit right now as I define the strategy and the process. 80 hours, fantastic. The 80-hour work week as a trademark of Men of High Value, as a process, as a strategy to get what you want, this is what it is. It is, if you're unemployed currently, or if you have one job, it is to increase your productivity to the point where you have 3 jobs. I don't want you to have just one job, preferably, okay? Because one job, it doesn't solve all the problems that I'm trying to help you solve. I want to help you to get 3 jobs ASAP. This is something that an unemployed person can do this week. Okay, this is not a difficult process that is like, it's going to take me a year to get to work 80 hours. No, you can start the 80-hour work week today. Like, literally, if you work 12 hours every single day, even as an unemployed person, for the next 7 days, you're working the 80-hour work week. It's a decision that you make today to start the process. It is having either 3 jobs or working 12 hours a day, working to get 3 jobs. You see, you're unemployed? Okay, well then work 12 hours a day from morning until evening to get 3 jobs. If you do that every day, like, it's impossible for you not to have 3 jobs by the end of that week. Literally, in today and age. Okay, we're not yet in the greatest depression, okay? You still can get a job, and there's tons of them available. So let's start that process. If you're unemployed, work 12 hours a day, give out 100 applications every single day, face to face. I want to work here. You'll have 3 jobs at the end of that week. Now, that's a process, but it's a very quick process if you make a decision to actually apply it and do it. Now, the 80-hour work week is having those 3 jobs for a consistent period of time. We're talking at least 6 months, but preferably until you've replaced all of those jobs' incomes with your business income. And that should not take more than 18 months if you're following my coaching. Okay? If you're being coached by me, it will never ever take you more than 18 months if you actually listen to what I'm saying in the coaching and actually apply the things that I teach you. But if you're not part of my coaching program, it's obviously going to take you way longer than it has to. That's why I always encourage everyone to sign up as a client with me so that you can get the right accountability and the right mindset and the right perspective and the attitude and the positivity and being fired up outside your brain all of the time. It's worth it, okay? But if you can't afford it, let's save up by having 3 jobs. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have those 3 jobs now for 6 to 18 months. In your circumstance, if you're in a developing country or whatever it is, it might take you 5 years to develop a business on the side that would replace those 3 jobs. Actually, in many ways, this is a detour real quick. If you are in a developing country and you have 3 jobs and you start a side hustle on like an online business, for example, and you begin to generate an online income in a developing country, okay, you're going to replace those 3 jobs in a matter of a few months if you actually know what you're doing. Like, it's amazing because you can tap into the international aspect of money, right? Internet has solved the developing world's problems if the developing world actually taps into it, okay? But you still need 3 jobs in order for you to get the right mindset to actually make that online business successful. I'm going to get to that in a second. But the strategy is that, exactly that, to have those 3 jobs until your business income has completely and fully replaced all of them. Coaching with me and doing this within 6 to 18 months, you will never ever, you will quit those jobs, have an online income that's better paid than any of your other jobs ever have paid you, and you'll actually have a nice net worth, and you can now move on with your life and never, ever, ever return to having a normal job with the boss that you hate, with an alarm clock that you need to go to. You'll still probably have one because you're a CEO of your own business, but you never have to go to a job. A just over broke circumstance with a boss ever again. That's my strategy. That's the process. That's what I recommend. Okay, there's a lot of people who want to take shortcuts and be like, can I start my business? I've been thinking about this project and I've been thinking about doing this with crypto and I've been thinking about doing that and the other. Okay, if you don't have the work ethic as a foundational aspect of your psyche, if you don't have the discipline that it takes to move you away from some certain things where your femininity is indulging in, you're not there yet. You haven't arrived to the point where you should even be thinking about business yet. People will disagree with me on this point because, one, they either are already successful and they're like, no, people can start any business at any time, blah, 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 but they don't understand the circumstances some of you guys are in. The circumstance of being addicted to something, the circumstance of caring about what other people think, the circumstance of, I just lack discipline, or I'm just lazy, or I'm this, that, and the other, of basically making tons of excuses on a continual daily basis while you have a business. That's not acceptable. Like, you have to come to a point where your foundation is completely laid, completely established that this is who I am. And the number one thing that you need to be who you are, the number one thing, in my opinion, as a masculine man, as a foundational skill, is work ethic. If you never ever get that skill, you will never ever go anywhere. Ever. You cannot achieve your full potential without a massive work ethic. The 4-hour work week type of philosophy disgusts me, especially when you hear that the guy who actually wrote the 4-flippin' hour work week is doing 12-hour work days and doing 80-hour work weeks. Okay? Yeah, and he finds time to do all those other enjoyable stuff because he sold you the 4-hour work week book. Do you get what I'm saying? So now he might be working 4-hour work weeks, but in the beginning when he was trying to become successful, of course he did the 80-hour work week. all successful people have gone through the 80-hour work week process. You don't become rich unless you inherited it or won the lottery or whatever it is that you've done. You don't become successful without first actually properly investing yourself in work and being obsessed with it. Being obsessed with success, man, that's the people who get rich. And it's available to anyone. Like, no exception. Okay, if you're able to actually watch a success video like this, you're able to click a button on YouTube, you're able to breathe at the same time simultaneously as you're watching me and like, comprehending quite a lot, you're able to get rich. Okay? You simply have to tap into understanding the full concept that I explain on this channel and understanding life and understanding what it takes to actually achieve it. Okay, so now that you understand the definition of what I'm trying to do and trying to get you to, to get to your full potential, and this is it, let me explain to you the reason, the purpose, the what actually happens as a natural result of you doing the 80-hour work week. Your future, hopefully, right? Hope is not a strategy, but hopefully, which basically means that you made a decision to actually become successful. That's the only, there's no such thing as hope. But hopefully, in the future, you actually become massively successful and reach your full potential, right? Masculinity, that is your full potential. That is your purpose, your design, what you were made to achieve and move towards in this lifetime, okay? It's gonna take a long time. It might take, past the grave type of situation of obtaining ultimate masculinity, but that's what we're moving towards. Okay, so if we know that, that's the goal, and then you've got you right here in your suboptimal performance current reality. We're gonna take you from there, okay, to there. One day at a time, one small step at a time. Let's explain your current suboptimal current reality, which we're trying to change. The only thing the only way that you're ever going to achieve your dreams and goals in the future is if you change your thinking. Like you have to change what's going on in here, right? It's the only way. Is in the video that I spoke about last week was Think and Grow Rich. What does it mean to think and grow rich? So I'm helping you to understand a little bit more about that concept. We need to change the way you think in order for you to move on your way as fast as possible to get to the land of your dreams. And I remember sitting in a success seminar one time and listening to these people saying, you have to change the way you think. You have to change the way you think. You have to change the way you think. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I have no idea what they're talking about. Like, tell me, explain, what does it mean in practical terms to change my thinking? I'm trying to change my thinking every single day. Like, I'm reading, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. At that time, I had no idea what that meant. Okay, so I'm trying to help you guys to simplify the process for you guys so you know. The only thing we're trying to do is to help you to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. If you can control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors independent of circumstances, right? Because that's the problem. You're in a certain circumstance, but you can't control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Which means you're environmental, which means you're feminine, which means that you're stuck in the now and you'll never have a future. You'll be stuck in the past because the past is who you are. Do you get what I'm saying? You won't, our goal is to train your mind, to train your mind in such a way that you are controlling it. You can actually control your thoughts, which means that you can control kind of sort of what's happening with your emotions, which means that you can actually direct your path to do a certain behavior consistently over a long period of time, long enough for you to get an exponential growth curve, for you to become an expert or master in that area that people are willing to pay you big bucks for. Do you get what I'm saying? That requires discipline, it requires consistency, it requires boring and mundane for a long period of time with no results in sight for you to get the exponential growth curve. This is a journey that feminine creatures do not want to partake of, do not want to engage themselves in, because it's boring and mundane, because it requires discipline, it requires focus, and it requires controlling their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. I'm not talking about women here. I'm talking about feminine creatures, aka men, in this video. They don't want to immerse themselves in that circumstance, to move towards their dreams and goals. The difficulty of that journey is going to be probably less difficult than the difficulty of enduring a painful life, of not even working on moving towards one's potential, which is the path that the vast majority of men take. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation, according to Henry David Thoreau. Okay, right? Or was it the other guy? The whole point is, that's not you. We don't want that to be you. You don't want to lead a life of quiet desperation. You want to get everything in life that you want. That will require for you to learn how to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, to change your thinking. Your stinking thinking is what's keeping you in your current reality. Your stinking thinking. What does that even mean? Your limited capacity to see the potential of something. Okay, you basically are tearing it down before you even explored the possibility. If I tell you that you can become a millionaire, you're going to be saying things like, well, I don't know if I can do that, but I can maybe do something else, or I can try. That means you have stinking thinking. Like, I tell you, you can become a millionaire, you believe it, and you begin to take massive action towards it, and you are consistent with that massive action, you will achieve it. Okay? Same thing with any other humongous dream or goal that you might have. You don't think you can get it. It's based on your self-worth. Stinking thinking equals low self-worth. If we can increase your self-worth as fast as possible, as much as possible, like right now, that's what's going to change your thinking. That's what's going to change that stinking thinking. That's what's going to change the way you think. Currently, right now, you have a horrible self-worth. You might like yourself. You might think you're freaking awesome. That's great. But you might still have some low self-worth that makes you believe that you can't achieve what you want to achieve. You see, that's messed up. That's like there's a duality going on there that's not right. That you kind of like yourself. Most people do. Like, I like me. You don't want to be in the circumstance where I hate myself. Like, I absolutely horrifically hate myself. Like, that is the circumstance you might be in if you're in like ultimate femininity mode, which you can get out of with the 80-hour work week, by the way, right? But over time, like, you won't be there for very long if you actually make a decision to follow this channel and apply the principles that I teach, because your self-worth will increase drastically. We're changing the way you think. What's the most effective way to do that? The 80-hour work week. Okay? Why? Let's go through this for a quick second. Your current suboptimal reality and performance. 1, how you spend your time. Your daily schedule tells me everything about whether you're going to become successful or not. The only difference between rich people and poor people and middle class people is how they spend their time. Okay? So your success or your unsuccessfulness is found in your daily schedule. How are you spending your time? If you're doing the 80-hour work week, people are impressed. Okay? People are like, wow, dang, is that even possible? I literally had a dude text me the other day, and I'm going to read the text for you guys out loud. I'm not going to mention his name because it's ridiculous. what he told me. Okay. Oh, where is he? I wish I had it right here. There you go. Okay. I told him, because he can't afford my coaching, get 3 jobs, work 80 hours, hire me to stay by your side for 18 to 24 months. Okay, right? Get your financial freedom. I say 24 months to kind of help you guys gain a sense of it could take some time, right? Before you get massive financial freedom. So anyway, 18 to 24 months. And then he says, that's tough. I don't live with my parents. It's me and my roommates. I have to take care of my body too, or I'll run myself to death and mentally drain myself. I'm not a robot. That's not a consistent plan. It is what it is. All my guys are expected to do that anyway. Let me know when you're ready. My system is my system. I'm not against your system. It's just unrealistic expectations. Be real with yourself. How is it unrealistic expectations when that's what we do? 3 jobs? How would you sleep then? You said 80 hours a week. And then I replied, there's 168 hours a week. Plenty of time to sleep. And then he objects again. He says, do the math, 168 minus 80 work hours. That's 88 hours left. You sleep 8 hours a day. That's 56, leaving you with 32 hours to get your personal life task done. I replied, perfect. And he continues, that's not realistic, Joseph. Do you see the stinking thinking? There are people in this world who are doing 80 hours. There are people who are doing also more than that, but in my opinion, that's not a sustainable plan. 80 hours is the number. Okay, stinking thinking. What's it gonna do? Right now, currently, the time that you're spending it with people. Trust me, you're not alone by yourself in your apartment. Most of you guys. Maybe some of you are. And if you are stuck in that current circumstance of being at home by yourself, well, it's the 80-hour work week is the solution to that, because you'll never be at home. You'll massively be working, right? But that's even worse almost, to be at home, stuck in your house with your own negative thinking, because you're not being influenced by anything or anyone. It's just you with your thoughts, your negative thoughts, okay? And then, but you might be the person who actually has, meets people, hangs out with friends, or talks to their parents, or talks to their siblings, whatever it is. Most people are negative. Why? Because of low self-worth. That's the only reason why people are have stinking thinking and are negative. The 80-hour work week is the purpose to get you out of that circumstance. You've been raised with it. Like, you've been with these friends for years. You've been with your parents and your siblings for years. It's time to get away from them from the vast majority of the time. You have a natural, comfortable habitat that you've been around for years. The only way that you can change your thinking is by changing your environment if you're still feminine. Because you're an environmental creature. The 80-hour work week puts you in an environment, a productive environment, to change everything. But number one is to change your environment. No more home. Right? No more going out partying. No more going out drinking. No more going with friends and doing drugs or whatever it is that people do these days. You're moving towards success. Right? That's just one. You're getting rid of your friends that are going nowhere, and they want you to go with them. You don't want to go nowhere, man. The other aspect, family, like parents. Parents have expectations of what you should do. Like, if you're at home being lazy and not doing anything, they want to put you into action. They're like, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Can you go to the shop for me? Can you do this for me? Blah, 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 blah. No more, okay? It's unproductive. Get them to do their own stuff. But don't be rude about it. Just don't be there. And the 80-hour work week, guess what? It solves that problem. You leave in the morning when it's dark. You come home when it's dark. They don't have time to ask you to do stuff for them. And when you come home, they're probably like looking at, oh, whoa, you did an 80-hour, he did 12 hours today. Leave him alone. Give him a break. Exactly. That's what you need from your parents. Okay. Other aspect that you are currently in, you've got instant gratification, man. Whenever you want something, you feel like you need something, you actually go and do it. Don't follow your emotions anymore, especially if your emotions are taking you down paths that you don't want to go. Especially with PMO, for example. Right? The 80-hour work week, what does it do? Well, guess what? It kind of takes away the environment for you to do the things that have instant gratification on it, right? Because you can't. You're at work all day long. People believe, I still have clients believing this, by the way, that, well, how will this solve PMO? Maybe I should dedicate a completely different video for this. But how does 80-hour work week solve PMO? Well, guess what? We're not even thinking about PMO anymore. Very often the addicts that are still stuck with PMO, they're addicts because they're still thinking about PMO. So if you're stuck thinking about PMO, it's time to start thinking about other stuff. Like, for example, service to other people and working all day, every day for 18 to 24 months. Some people will say then, well, I'll still be addicted to PMO. How do you know? Have you actually tried working 80 hours a week for 18 to 24 months? Okay? Because this is what's going to happen. I could say also the girls and the partying and all that stuff, but you guys understand it if you've been around my channel for a while. The 80-hour work week gets rid of women so fast. And it also saves you so much money because you don't have time to spend it. So it ends up just accumulating, and especially if you're buying Bitcoin over the next few years, it's going to accumulate even more, okay? In my opinion. But what I was saying about in terms of okay, here you got it. You've got a burning desire right now for immediate gratification. PMO, alcohol, whatever it is, right? Femininity, intense desire. I need to have it right now, right? Your emotions are screaming to you. Our goal, remember, is control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors despite circumstance. Well, if you have instant gratification type of mentality, you're not in control, okay? Those things are controlling you. You're extremely feminine because you're being a follower of instant gratification crap. It could be women, it could be sex, it could be PMO, it could be anything that you have a problem with that you know is a problem, but you're just not facing it head on, or you just have never found any information that could actually possibly help me to get out of the situation that you're in. Trust me, this works. You have that, and you have an intense obsession about it, right? You have a burning desire towards getting that instant gratification thing that you're addicted to. What's the 80-hour work week's biggest thing? Other than setting up your foundation for doing the 80-hour work week for the rest of your life. Other than developing massive people skills over time. Developing a positive attitude continuously. Developing, because you kind of have to. Or else you're going to be miserable all the time, every day, and you're going to quit. Like, we humans have a tendency to quit things that are difficult if we're negative about it continuously and, for a long period of time. You're not going to continue doing something if you absolutely hate it. Like intensely hate it. Like, you can manage to do 40 hours a week with something you hate. Most people do. But doing 80 hours where that's your entire life, like you are alive, you're awake, and you're at work. And you're working, and you're working. 2/3 of your entire awake time is you slaving at a job for a boss. Like, that's not life. Good. Okay? You got to go through hell to get to heaven. You'll quit. Right? You can't do that. That's not part of the plan. If you actually keep doing it, that's when you rewire your brain. Just like at the gym. You don't want to do the last few reps, but you know you have to do the last few reps even though you don't feel like it, because that's where you get the results. This is the exact same thing. A guy who's doing 60 hours a week and feels that that's sufficient, he's not seeing that the last 20 hours every single week for several months in a row is the key to solving that that problem he has. to solve the rewiring of his brain to actually get him to get into the mode of obsession, of I need to breathe. I need freedom. There's a story. I don't know who it was or whatever. I think someone used the name of Socrates or like one of the big philosophers, and that he was walking with his students on the beach. And then the guy was like saying, I really would want to become successful. And then he said, okay, let's go into the water. And he's like, the student was puzzled, and I don't know what you're doing. And so they walked into the water, and then they went until they were neck deep. And then the philosopher guy, whoever it was in the story, puts his head underwater, and the guy can't, he can't, scrambles to try and get up, right? And he can't breathe. And he's like, tries to stop him and try to take his hands away so that he can, survive, and not drown. Eventually, right before he faints, I guess, according to the story, obviously, probably this never happened, but it's a good story anyhow. He gets up, he gets his gasp of fresh air, and then once he gathers himself and they go back on the beach, he says, what on earth were you trying to do? Like, you're trying to kill me. Like, well, what's going on? Why were you doing that? And the guy told him that if you want success as much as you wanted air, you'll become successful. And that basically was just explaining the process of burning desire. Like, do you have a burning desire? Because all of you guys who are watching my channel, all of you guys who are thinking success thoughts, and I want to achieve, I want to do this, that, and the other, I want to become masculine. You might want it, but do you want it? Okay? Like, do you have a burning desire to have it? It's the number one step to riches. It's literally chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich. Burning desire. The thing that the 80-hour work week does for you, it literally puts you in a horrible situation. Fantastic. It literally puts you in hell. Fantastic. It gives you horrible bosses at times. Sometimes you get nice bosses, nice colleagues, whatever. But to do it 12 hours a day, every day for 12 to 18 to 24 months? Are you serious? Fantastic. Why? Because you're replacing your burning desire for immediate gratification, whatever addiction you might have, with the burning desire for freedom, with the burning desire for success outside of this job, a burning desire for an exit strategy that gets you out of the situation that you're in. Because you can't live like that. Well, guess what? This is the reason why you will never, ever have a job ever again. Once you've actually completed the task of replacing your incomes from those jobs with the business on the side of those 80 hours. It sounds extremely difficult. It's because it's supposed to be difficult. We're developing and increasing your capacity to do. What is a capacity to do? Is your power. Remember, the ability to do, power. That's your masculinity. Masculinity, the ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and behavior independent of circumstances. That's ultimate power, right? Because if you have that, you have the ability to do or to learn anything in life that you desire. You'll be a master at anything you choose to do. Like, I know that if I applied myself to any endeavor, because I have a massive work ethic and I'm curious enough to want to learn and be a sponge and get all the information to faster be able to do, right? I know I can learn it. I know I can become proficient at it. Because I know that, I know I'll become successful at whatever it is that I choose to do. Same thing with you, man. The 80-hour work week transfers your non-self-aware, pathetic self right now, You suck right now compared to your future self, who is confident, who's fired up outside his brain, who's got his dreams, but also wants more. Okay? You continuously want more, which is a good thing. It's fantastic. Because wanting more means that you need to change more. And you're chiseling yourself. You're a diamond in the rough, moving towards the direction of who you want to be. If anything, that's the ultimate goal. Isn't it? A feeling? That's what you want. Well, guess where we as men, as masculine men, get that emotion, that feeling? From masculinity. Isn't that strange? Femininity is emotional, right? Masculinity is logical and rational. But guess what? What fulfills us at the end of the tunnel is an emotion. Of feeling absolutely amazing because you've got ultimate power. You can create, you can do, you can achieve anything that you want. And because you have that power, everyone loves you. Especially if you, obviously you got to be a good person too, because, you know, you can become rich or powerful in one specific skill or endeavor and get like ultimate riches in that endeavor. And then you're a horrible, awful person to other people around you. Some people might still pay you to get that skill, to get you to do the skill that you want you, but you'll still be unhappy and depressed. Do you get what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of actors in that circumstance, or other people as well. But I'm saying like if you understand the relationship aspects as well, which is what you have to do if you become an entrepreneur, you're solving the entire equation of joy, bliss, and happiness, man. And where did we start out? As an unemployed, doing 12 hours, 100 applications a day for a week to get 3 jobs and work them for 6 to 24 months while having a business on the side, trying to replace the incomes with the business, you know, of those jobs with the business income, and not quitting until you have consistently for several months been able to make more from your business than you did in your jobs. That's what I want for you. That's what's going to bring you everything else. That's the purpose of the 80-hour work week. You might not see it, but I see it. I see it in you. If you apply this strategy, if you apply this, come back to me in 2-3 years time or 5 years time. If you're not going to hire me as a coach, should. But come back to me and tell me I applied what you said and it drastically changed my life. And it made me to who I am today. Probably. Why? Because I'm telling you the truth. This is not my information. This is not just, you know, me coming up with something and I'm amazing for it. This is truth. I'm just giving you what works, practical terms, so you can apply it, make it happen, and change your life. I'm excited for you guys. I hope that you take this message, apply it, and become obsessed with achieving your full potential, because I know you can do it. Let's see. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.